Oh boy, that was a pretty awesome finish to a solid race at Kansas, which, I mean, Kansas, I don't think it's ever been like the best track on the circuit. The race in the spring was pretty good. I think the night races at Kansas usually are better than the day races, which of course this one was a day race. So, um, first stage, nothing really of much note happened. We had David Reagan. I think he hit the wall in that first stage and had the issue. So that put him out of contention to win the race, even though he was probably not going to be in contention for it anyway. But yeah, I think that was the only notable thing that happened in stage one besides Logano getting points, which was exactly what he needed to do coming in, basically to ensure his spot in the next round. And we will talk about that because points did matter. I said last week I didn't think it would matter after Blaney won Talladega, but oh my, did they matter? But Denny Hamlin, he won the second stage and he won the race. So I thought he was half a car length away from losing the race win because he came within half a car length um of winning the race. And then the caution came out to send us to our final overtime because we had a couple of overtimes at the end of this one. I think we went technically 10 laps past regulation, but I mean, that's how it goes sometimes. Um, and then I guess I'll talk about the points implications because Chase Elliott got second place. Brad Keselowski, not quite as good. Finished 19th. Keselowski misses by about 3 or 4 points. I haven't heard officially like how many he missed by, but it was only like 3 or 4 points that Keselowski ended up missing Elliott by. And Elliott was able to point his way in and advance. And I'd say he was the quote unquote real winner of today because that win in the playoffs sends him to the round of eight. And now we've got three of the fan favorites in the round of eight. And I'd say they're probably all contenders to potentially get a win at one of these last three tracks. And they could potentially go 1, 2, 3. They're going to be three of the four going to Homestead. And then Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and Martin Truex Jr. are battling it out for the final spot. Um, that could happen. I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but Elliott, Martinsville, Blaney winning, Blaney winning Texas, and Larson winning Phoenix. I could see all three of those outcomes happening, and that would then put Kyle Busch, MTJ, and Denny Hamlin all looking for that final spot on points across them. Speaking of Kyle Busch, he has yet to win a race since June. The last time he won a race, Fox was still broadcasting NASCAR. Darrell Waltrip hadn't retired, and Bowman had still not won a race. Now Bowman has won a race. Darrell Waltrip retired, and he has still yet to win. Kyle has yet to win another race. So that's big disappointment for Kyle. His brother finished right behind him. Kurt, again, not a playoff guy, though, doesn't really make a big difference. It's a good top five for that team. But there's some stuff about him I'm going to be talking about in a video coming out probably tomorrow. But yeah, William Byron fifth. Not really he needed a win. So top five, great for that team. But it's not going to keep him in the playoffs. He is out. MTJ, solid top 10. Not really what he needed out of today, but to be honest, it was win or nothing today, and he didn't get the win, so it doesn't really make a big difference. Jones, 7th place finish. Solid top 10. Again, just kind of showing that he could have been consistent enough to make the round of 8 if he hadn't had the worst three races of his career, 1, 2, and 3 in the playoffs. Las Vegas, Richmond was a pretty good race for him, but then he got disqualified, and then he got wrecked at Roval. 3 of his worst races of the year, probably of his career. And they were all like chained together in the first round of the playoffs. Clint Boyer, not good enough either, but a top 10. I guess kind of showing why Stewart-Haas gave him an extension, even though I still don't really think he's deserving of it. But again, we still don't know what's going to happen with Suarez and if that's going to get Custer to the Cup Series that way. Kevin Harvick started dead last of this race. He got up inside the top 10. Jimmy Johnson with a top 10. Hey, you know, Jimmy, he's had a rough last couple of years. Let's give him this one. He got a top 10, and that's pretty good. I still remember when we were like, yeah, winning was a disappointment. Like if he didn't lead every single lap and win, he was disappointed pretty much. Bowman, again, not quite what he needed to do. He was pretty much in a must win. He didn't win, so he's. And then JTG Doherty, after they had a hauler catch on fire this this week on the way to the track, Ryan Preece and Chris Buescher both top 15 days. Man, I mean I think that is showing that JTG Doherty does have fast race cars. Means that there's also going to be a bar set for Stenhouse when he gets there. So, speaking of Stenhouse, he didn't even finish in the top 15. But yeah, there was just a ton of stuff, though, that happened this week, though. I've got actually a list here of all the stuff that happened this week. We had hundreds of birds fly into the Hall of Fame. Austin Terrio wasn't able to race this weekend, which I'm personally pretty bummed about. Fellow Mainer, and he couldn't race this week. Garrett Smithley filled in for him. Did an okay job for the equipment that they're in. JTG hauler caught on fire. Colleague Racing hauler caught on fire. A general NASCAR hauler crashed. An ex-NASCAR team owner was found dead in the Ohio River. JGR plane crashed in Alaska. Greg Galding had a bit of an allergic reaction, of what seemed like it was an allergic reaction. He was then later cleared to run the Xfinity race. And then in qualifying, Hemrick and Radian both got the front row. A Rick Ware Racing hauler caught on fire. And then let's talk about that Xfinity race. Just want to give a few mentions to stuff that happened in that race. First off, Garrett Smithley, I'm glad that he apologized. That makes me think that it was definitely non-intentional, especially the way that he raced today. But, I mean, you still got to think that that certainly doesn't look good if you're looking for a better ride to see that you're coming up into a Stewart-Haas car and a Joe Gibbs car and basically taking them out when they're two teams that are probably going to have available seats in competitive equipment, either at the Xfinity level or Cup level in the relatively near future. If you're looking for an extension, might want to not wreck the guys that might give you the step up the ladder. But he did apologize. I honestly think it was just a mistake on his part. So I'm not gonna bash him too hard. I saw a lot of people going after him, like especially considering he was the same guy that got into Kyle Busch. But I mean, it was. I honestly believe it was very likely that it was just an honest mistake. So yeah. But then we also had because of that wreck, Brandon Jones was able to win a cup, or not a cup race. He will never win a cup race. I can pretty much place a bet on that one. But he won an Xfinity race because the guys in front of him were basically wrecked. But he won a race, and then a fight broke out between Custer and Reddick, which really that fight won't mean anything in 3 weeks because they'll both advance to Homestead with a chance to win the championship. It's not like, oh, one of them took the other out of the championship fight. No, they're both still in. They're both probably still going to make it as long as we don't have two different winners at Texas and Phoenix. So just kind of wanted to give you guys a brief recap on the weekend so far. But yeah, so But overall, I want to also talk about the racing quality. As I said, first stage was fairly forgettable, but I feel like by stage two, like the pit strategies, the people having just kind of having not as good days as they would like, really started to come into play. We saw guys like Keselowski just kind of mired back in, or I guess I should say Joey mired back um, in like the back half of the top 20, and then we had guys like Elliott up near the front, kind of showing that they could win this race, and actually because he was running so much in front of Keselowski, he was actually able to point his way in without winning. Which again I didn't initially think was gonna be possible, but just kind of seeing us. And then as we got as it just dragged on later and later, the race was pretty good if you were watching like the point standings and whatnot, and seeing like how close it was. And then as we got the last several cautions, Keselowski having to debate on whether he should pit or not pit to take the wave around, and then trying to decide whether he should, um, and then trying to decide like what he should do those last several cautions, and he ended up getting everything I think falling his way, but not enough, to get him into the next round. So the next round will consist of um, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., not Clint Boyer, Harvick, Larson, Logano, Blaney. Trying to remember if that was all. Yeah, that was all the playoff guys. But yeah, especially with like the Bubba Wallace crash. I mean, that was I think the one that gave him the chance to get the free pass back on the lead lap. But yeah, so that was crazy, and of course we still haven't. Inspection is not done yet, so we could hear tonight around 1 a.m. We could hear Chase Elliott penalized and he will lose his spot in the playoffs or something. I'm hoping that doesn't happen for both NASCAR's fans, because I know that Chase Elliott's the most popular driver. But yeah, and for and for Chase, of course. So, but yeah, I just read. Oh man, wow! I really went on for 13 minutes on this one race and this weekend. So yeah, implications from this again, as I said, we could see all three Toyota guys basically battling it out for one spot in championship weekend. And to be honest, I feel like the fans are pretty happy with this round because of the guys who won. Now, NASCAR fans, at least the verbal ones, have been very verbal about, these three I think are probably the three most popular drivers in the series: Larson, Blaney, and Elliott. And the fact that all three of them are still in it at this point in the game for the championship, I think that's pretty good for the sport. Now, of course, not good if you're a Kyle Busch fan or a MTJ fan or a Joey Logano fan, because of course now they're going to be battling with some great drivers to try and advance into the next round. So, as I said, I've got another video that's going to be coming out tomorrow. Talking about some other news that came out this week, and some other rumors. So, and to be honest, I think some of them might be a little bit out of left field, but and they will include speculation, so take that with a grain of salt when you guys see the title of tomorrow's video. But hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!